Well, folks, it is time to talk about season 2 of Stargirl. Now, here I got a lot to cover with this, so bear with me. But without further ado, and let's not waste no further time, let's jump into our review right now. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're covering season 2 of DC's Stargirl, which the first episode is available now. And I must premise, hear me, so you make sure you understand this. There's 13 episodes in this season. I have checked out 6, and the reason why I've checked out 6 is because 6 happens to be the complete arc of the first saga of season 2, which is entitled Summer School. So if you look at the titles of each of them, it says Summer School parts 1 through 6, and that's the first 6 episodes. So that's what I'm here to cover. When the other episodes are available, then we'll be back to cover those as well too. But I gotta say, this was super impressive. I love these first 6 episodes, and there's a lot that we have to talk about here, so I cannot wait to break it all down for you all. Now, my next thing I want to throw out to you, everybody, is that if you're watching Titans, another DC property, and you're watching this, please remember that these shows are 2 different tones. Whether you see it or whether you in disbelief, just understand they're 2 different tones. While this is a CW product, and that's a HBO Max DC Universe product, one's very dark and gritty and adultish. This one is very family friendly, and yeah, I think that's what the word, we'll just leave it at with that. But they're both equally good in their own right. And even if we're going to sit here and say, well, which one do I like better? I like them both because of what they do are different. So I just want to throw that out there because I want to make sure why Titans was highly anticipated, that this may have fell by the wayside, that definitely, if you love season 1 of Stargirl, you definitely want to pick this up ASAP. And if you haven't, this is still very good for anybody who's loved anything in the Arrowverse for CW. And this, quite frankly, may be the best show in the Arrowverse. But, we can have that argument. But I really think the first season was really good. And for a lot of the reasons why I like season 1, I like season 2. The choreography I thought was really good. Some of the action sequences, like that ending fight on the end of episode 1 with Jenny and Courtney, Green Lantern and Stargirl, was really good, really good. And they had some really impressive ones the first season, but I thought this one was really good. And I just feel like the production is really good. Like for a television product, I think it's really good. So I just want to make sure that it gets its due respect. Because, some people tend to forget, like, it is still a CW product. Yes, it has to deal with HBO Max as well, too. But, considering budgets here. So again, the first 6 episodes, Summer School, they're titled Summer School Chapter 1 all the way to Chapter 6. 6 episodes. They're all about an hour long. Really good. And it's simple what's happening, what they're trying to accomplish in this first 6 episodes. It's light versus dark. Really think about that. Like, if I can just give you just a little bit of nudge of which direction to kind of think about that, Stargirl is light, villains are dark. So, and this is not a spoiler because it has been announced that Eclipso is the big baddie for this season. And while Eclipso is, chilling in his little black diamond here, which we know about that with Cindy from the first episode, as she concluded saying that she had to recruit, which we all know where that's going. She's going to be recruiting the young generation of ISA members, as all of them had kids, and it's her duty to, kind of see where they're at, kind of see where they're feeling, recruit them, kind of give them some motivation to want to be on the dark side, But also, there's also another villain that has appeared in this small town. Like, things are getting popping now, and that's the Shade, who they assume is the last member of the Injustice Society. And now that he returned, what is his business? What does he want? Who is he looking for? What is he looking for? And ultimately, it's going to come down to his motivations to kind of decide if he's good or bad. And that is a super interesting thing that happens in this season. So, yeah, 2 villains now, along with the young generation of ISA members who, this young generation are all kids of the legacy members. And that puts a lot of pressure on the JSA. But as we've seen at the end of episode 1, we see that Jenny is around, who is the daughter of the first Green Lantern, Alan Scott. And that's a valuable asset to them. However, there's one huge issue, and it's Courtney's ego. Courtney has an issue with somebody who's highly powered, very significant, and also happens to be a daughter of a legacy member, especially coming off the heels of her thinking that she was too. So this woman is truly everything that she wants to be, but she isn't. And there's a little bit of issue in regards to recruiting there, but you know, we're going to see how they work it out, because they're going to need to come together if they're going to end up trying to keep peace in their town. And while all this is happening, everyone's in summer school, by the way. Just going to throw that out there. What else is going on here? So the other thing too is with Eclipso being in the Black Diamond, you know, he's telling her to do some recruiting. If you know anything about Eclipso, you always can't trust his approach with his anything that he's saying. You know, he always has his own ulterior motive, because that's part of his powers, you know. So we have to kind of see how him and Cindy play out for the first 6 episodes, because it totally gets crazy. It really, really does. So you have to see. Now, this has also been announced. If you're looking at the synopsis of the things that are happening, episode 4, Johnny Thunder who was the previous master of the Thunderbolt, who's played by Gaffigan. He makes his appearance as Thunderbolt, and I have got to say that it's some of the best moments this season, because if you know anything about Thunderbolt, he's basically, I don't know, just an electric genie, and you have to be very particular about what you wish, because he will definitely twist it in a way that you weren't expecting. So seeing how his owner, who I'm not going to tell you who the owner is, and seeing how they interact is so funny. So funny. Speaking of other people, Mike Dugan, you know, the brother, he's just trying to find his place, trying to find some significance. He's kind of a loner, and he feels misplaced, and that's problematic, because, you know, how does he contribute to the team if he doesn't have a place? If only somebody was there to help him, you know, to kind of aid him, because if somebody else also felt the same way, that would probably give them possession of their powers in order to help. So I don't know, but yeah, episode 3 is pretty crazy, folks. But Mike is just trying to find his place. Episode 4, we see Artemis. She is a beast on the football field, I gotta say. And while her parents are locked up, well, maybe they'll come out and watch her play a game, see how she does for her big scouting day on the field. Well, you know, we'll see if we see Sportsmaster and Tigress. And they've got to, by the way, I love Sportsmaster. He's one of my favorite villains. Artemis is one of my favorite characters. So I really dug episode 4. And, you know, the fact that we also, first of all, just one other thing too. So when they go to the ISA's former location, former headquarters, I love that painting that they got on the wall. But I have got to say that I thought it was really cool seeing the kids of all of them and how they kind of inherit their roles and whatnot. I really love this concept of scouting for the ISA. I really was digging that a lot. Another thing that's really cool is Beth and Dr. Midnight's story in this. That's pretty much all I can say. It gets really cool. It gets really cool and interesting. Chapter 5, episode 5. It was really intense. And Eclipso, man, he's a problem. He is a problem. That's all I'm gonna say. And then finally, with chapter 6, you know, it's all circled around Courtney. As I said, it is light versus dark, and Courtney being the beacon of light as being Stargirl, it's all revolves around her when it all is said and done. Even though like this season wasn't really focused on her, but more or less the things around her, it still comes to being her being light versus dark. And the final showdown for this first part, and where you have this really cool fight sequence, the goods versus the bads. It's really cool. Good effects, good choreography, everything. And it drove a lot of action and emotion for everything that's kind of happening. So things got really real. And I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna leave this. It's the last part of this review here. Is Eclipso. They left us with a really interesting cliffhanger with Eclipso. And he's just kidding along, I guess. So, I don't know. We just have to see. But anyway, folks, if you don't know now, I throw a lot of curveballs just to kind of not give you totally spoilers, but to kind of get your brains gearing up a little bit. And you can jump in the comments, put all your theories you want. I don't know how deep you all are looking into everything, but based on what I've seen, I'm just here to say that for the first 6 episodes, it's really cool. It's really, really cool. I had a really fun time with this, and I can't wait for the second saga to come about. So I don't know. Maybe the second half, because it's 6 and 6. That's 12, but 13. I guess it's one finale. So maybe second half of this season. But yeah, Summer School was really dope. I enjoyed this, and they're setting up a lot of things to come. So we'll see as we going to have this new generation JSA. Versus Eclipso, and then the ISA. Where do they fall in this? Matter of fact, I mean, that puts the JSA in this really peculiar situation of just being in the middle of enemies all over the place. So, we're going to have to kind of see how this comes about, and we'll see if they get more help and all sorts of things. But yes, folks, that will do it for this review. Once the remaining episodes are released, I will be back. Jump in the comments, folks. Let me know your thoughts about the first 6 episodes once you've seen it, or as you come through each episode, let me know. And as always, so stay tuned because we got more reviews coming very soon. Thank you for watching, folks.
I keep